Hi everybody, and thanks for joining me today. So, working on the peacock's wing today. Yeah, we've done the bright blue for a while, and my work is sloping the other way because that's the way the colors are going on the pattern. So yeah, as usual, I am following them. And not starting quite at 0 today. I'm just over 70 stitches because I had to wait for the light to come up. Yeah, it was very dark and overcast this morning, and I'm going to be working with some paler colors today, so yeah, I want to make sure they are actually going to show up. You can actually see them. So yeah, I've got a fair amount done since last time. Now past 90,000 total completed, so woohoo. Oh my goodness, pardon me. I actually slept okay, so I don't know why I yawn a lot. Although apparently it could be a side effect of my medication, so that's it too. Yeah, it is, I'll say, warming up out there in that it's no longer dangerous cold, but it's still ready cold. Yeah, it's still like minus 30 with the wind chill, but that's definitely better than minus 50. Yeah, they lifted the extreme cold warning, so there's that. Although, yeah, you still have to be careful. You can get frostbite very quickly in temperatures this cold. So, but thankfully, yeah, we never lost power. So, oh my gosh, I rebooted my tablet. I don't know why. It is running so slowly. Yeah, hopefully, I don't know, it'll warm up too. But it's being a bit of a pill. Yeah, sometimes I guess I was lazy. I should have actually shut it down all the way rather than just rebooting it. Yeah. Because, yeah, when you restart, it leaves certain processes and stuff open rather than shutting them down and restarting them. And of course, if it's one of those things that is causing the problem, then restarting is not going to fix it, right? So, yeah. But shutting down and completely and then booting it back up takes more time, and I was being lazy. So I was hoping it would be good enough. But, yeah, it could be one of those things that I was trying to save time, but in the end, it actually costs me more time because of the tablet lag. My gosh, that is just brutal. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything else running in the background. I made sure to close everything except for Pattern Keeper and my screen capture, so I don't know why it's being like that. My son hates when I tell him that every time he's having trouble with his computer, and I'm always like, well, when did you last shut it down? Because, yeah, that'll often fix a lot of the problems you're having. And yes, I know you're impatient like me. Yeah. It's harder to wait, but... Oh, I remember when I was still working outside the home, my work computer, by the end, it was awful. You could still use it, but the lag was so bad. So like if I was doing a database entry, after every time I finished an entry and hit, enter, you would have to sit there and wait for 30 seconds while it actually updated before you could move on to the next one. And I mean, if you're entering a lot of data at once, oh, it's maddening, Oh. Yeah, and then they finally gave me a new one after I told them, look, like, it's taking me 3 times as long to do my work because, yeah, it's it is so bad. It was funny. I saw a meme that said, if you want to know someone's true character, just give them a slow Wi-Fi connection. Because, yeah, they said, like, no Wi-Fi, it's kind of like, okay, well, that sucks, but whatever. You know, I can live with it. And then, but slow Wi-Fi, yeah, that drives everybody just bonkers, right? Just sitting there watching it spin. It's like, come on, come on, come on, come on, load. And it won't. Oh, my word, this is so bad. Okay, so time to pull my white out. Yeah. So we had a lot of confetti last time, and now we're back to a bit more. Look at that, it didn't even color all those in. Holy moly. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it just runs ruddy slow, no matter what you do. And then it stops. I don't know. Maybe it's updating or something, yeah. Ugh. Yeah, or I had once at work. It kept asking me if it had permission to install something. And I had no idea what it was. I can't remember, but, you know, I was afraid to say yes. So finally, I took a picture of the screen because I tried to take a screenshot because it would sort of periodically pop up and I would say, you know, cancel or wait till later or something, whatever the non-yes option was. And I tried to take a screenshot and all I had was like this black dot. And so I ended up having to take a picture with my phone and then email them saying, you know, am I allowed to say yes? You know, am I supposed to say yes to installing this or not? Because you know, I don't know, but of course IT would be the ones who were updating people's computers remotely and stuff, and they wouldn't always tell you. So I emailed them and they said, oh yeah, that's totally fine. Press, you know, allow it, say yes. And I'm like, oh, okay, good. So I did. And then immediately after that, my computer started having problems. And so I had to call them and say, you know, like it's crashing and all this stuff. It's not running. And they looked and it got a malware. And I'm going, I wonder if that thing you told me to say yes to was actually a malware program. But hey, that's why I sent an email asking if it was okay, because then if it was something bad, it wasn't my fault. You told me to, right? Yeah. Yeah, the IT guy who's, you know, they're the experts, told me to accept it. So yeah, if something went wrong, it is not my fault. My gosh. Oh, didn't think I had an end that long left on the back. There we go. Usually I try to, instead of pin stitching those, I usually try to draw them along the back, sort of pointing away from the lighter colors, so that doesn't happen, but I guess I didn't do that there. Okay. Oh, there it is again. Yeah, it was a longer piece, so it really wants to come along for the ride. If you could stop doing that, that'd be great. There we go. So yeah, like I've said, there's a little bit of closing in because I'm going sort of the opposite direction, but that's all right. I'm not really that concerned about it. Okay, some more ecru. Yeah, these were the colors that were in that, the very upper left corner. That was like 2 pages worth of just, yeah, white and ecru. With like a tiny bit of some extremely light blue thrown in. But yeah, it was like 99% was white and ecru, so yeah, it made for some not as interesting stitching. That was the one I was using for when I was watching mindless TV, and I didn't want to because I didn't want to have to pay attention to counting carefully. So yeah, and now I'm doing that with my stained glass Zelda, the Ocarina of Time piece, which is black. And yeah, it's going to take a long time because I think it's over 100,000 stitches for just the background. That's not counting the the black that's sort of throughout the piece. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just gonna decide. I guess I will kind of work my way along here. So yeah, I could choose to continue with the white and then fill in those other colors later, or I could choose to also get those other colors going at the same time, which I might do for now because there's not too many of them. I usually try not to go across when it's slanting the other way because I end up with so many live needles that it starts to get tangled, but there's not very many colors here, so I think I can get away with it. Because yeah, I try to only close in on 2 sides of a stitch or less when I can help it. So, and if I did all the white below this, I would be closing it on 3 sides. So, sort of pause and change. This one. Okay, yeah, I had a feeling that was going to be a really short piece, so I don't think it'll reach over to the other side of this big square to park it. Yeah, that's going to be all I will get out of that, I think. Okay. Plus, I guess, yeah, stopping to do these single stitches kind of gives me a break from the bigger blocks. Yeah, I have to be careful and sort of try to do as many things with my non-dominant hand as possible, or I start getting pain by the end of the day. Yeah. I need to start. I've been trying to use voice controls on things rather than typing them in. Yeah. To save my, my fingers, pain in my hand. Although, yeah, sometimes that can get really frustrating. We had one time we were traveling and I was trying to input somebody's address into the GPS and it wouldn't allow me because my husband was driving, but, you know, I wasn't driving, but it was like, nope, you can't enter it while you're in motion. You can use only voice commands. And I would sort of say the number of the house and then a pause and then the number of the street. And instead of getting it correct, it would combine the 2 numbers the wrong way and try to send us across the country. You know, we're trying to go into the next town over. We're not trying to go all the way from BC to Ontario. Like, come on. And it doesn't allow you to correct, right? So I'd have to say can't, like, it, yeah, it was just frustrating. I should have just said the street, but then the problem is sometimes it selects a street from a different city, because I mean, you know, there's a lot of cities who are going to have, say, an 11th Street, right? So, yeah, it was really frustrating. And I said, plus, like, it knows there's somebody sitting in the passenger side, because if I didn't have my seatbelt on, the light would come on. So it can register my weight there. So I think it should have allowed me to use the keypad, knowing that the passenger could be doing it, but I don't know. It's annoying. Yeah. I remember when the last time we were traveling to BC to see my mother-in-law before she passed away, and yeah, it has these safety features that, like, if you cross lanes enough times, the lane markers, it'll start beeping at you, and it'll actually ask you to take a break and stuff. And it wasn't because like my husband was tired or driving badly. It was just, yeah, like we had to move a lot of times because, you know, there was ice and you had to avoid the ice, so you went over the line a bit, right? If there was nobody next to you. Yeah. But it didn't account for that, so yeah. And some of the places, I mean, the lanes were so narrow that, and my husband's truck is so freaking big. Oh. Yeah, so I did part of, there's sort of like two big feathers sort of intersecting here. I did a lot of the bottom one, and then now I'm doing part of the top one. Okay, actually, I'm also going to do those sort of in the corner so that I can do the number 2 next. Number 2 stitch. Oh, whoops. Accidentally came back up where I just went down. That won't work. There, okay. But yeah, my husband doesn't like, there's like a safety feature on his truck that if you get closer to someone, that means that when you hit the brakes, it brakes harder to keep you from having a rear ender. But yeah, the problem is if you're not prepared for it, you can stop so suddenly that you might end up being in danger of the person behind you rear-ending you, right? So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't always like everything being smart these days, because a lot of times it thinks it's smarter than you and it's not. Oh gosh. I remember one time I was having trouble on my computer and I wanted to, and you know, somebody said like, delete your cookies, you know, clear your cache, all that kind of stuff. And so I'm like, okay, but I don't know where they are. And so like I go through like the Microsoft help and it's telling me like, well, this is what cookies do and this is what they're used for. I'm like, I don't care. You know, just tell me where I go to clear them. And it was just giving me all this extraneous, useless information. I'm so frustrated. I opened up Google and I typed in like delete effing cookies, and boom, the first one that came up was the right thing. I'm like, wow, so I'm not the only person who had this reaction, right? It's just like, yeah, you're giving me what is a technically correct answer, but is completely useless, right? Yeah. Okay, so this I may end up splitting this color a bit. Yeah, because the way I can see this kind of branches off a little bit, so yeah, sometimes I sort of stitch across a whole big area of one color, and sometimes I split it up, and it sort of depends on the shape of the color, how much it branches off and such. Whatever way will sort of help me avoid wasting thread by having longer carries across the back is sort of how I do it. Yeah, so we have this white here, and then I think it kind of curves down, and we'll be getting into some sky soon, some blues again, lighter blues, and then we'll be getting into tail feathers. Woohoo! But I don't think we're going to get to those in January. If we do, then bonus. But yeah, I think trying to get to those would be a little too ambitious, because I think after this I only have 2 more sessions with you all. Okay. So again, pick a color that's not used as much to take a bit of a break. 2, 8. Okay, let's see how far does that extend. Somewhat. All right, trying to decide if I want to start a whole brand new long piece or if I'll use up some of these shorter ones, and I decided on the latter. So yeah, like I say, when I often can, I alternate between these confetti stitches and the bigger areas. Okay, 964. Don't think I have that one out yet. No. My goodness. Oh, there we go. Trying to smooth it out, but I had a snarl, but thankfully I was able to undo it. Yeah, cross-stitcher's blessing, may your thread never knot. Unless you want it to, right? Yeah, depending on what kind of embroidery you're doing. If there's French knots, then I guess you kind of have to. Yes, I'm over halfway done the baby blanket I'm knitting. But yeah, unfortunately, I cannot knit for extended periods like I used to. I do notice that my hand gets sore and tired. I used to be able to knit for hours when I was younger without pain, but yeah, I can't do that anymore. Sort of have to pick it up, do a row or two, and then take a break. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to this white here. Do a few rows. Ooh, oh my goodness. Pardon me. Yeah, so I let my Amazon Prime membership expire, so now I have to wait a couple extra days to get stuff, but that's okay. Yeah, I still try to order the minimum so I still get free shipping. Yeah, and it's kind of funny too because it'll be like, get free Prime shipping, and it's like, and receive it, by the 17th. I'm like, or get the free shipping with no Prime and get it by the 18th. It's like, yeah, I can wait another day. That's fine. I am not that impatient. Yeah. Oh, plus, I try to order sort of bigger orders rather than a whole bunch of smaller ones and be a little less of a carbon footprint, right? Although, like, I don't always have control over that because, yeah, like I said, sometimes they ship things all separately, even when you didn't ask for separate shipping. And, yeah, as I said previously, someone pointed out it could be if they're coming from different warehouses, which, yeah, does make sense. Yeah, there was a viral video that went around recently where a lady was complaining about people who deliver from Amazon or who order from Amazon every day and not leaving snacks for their driver. And I'm like, we're supposed to do that? Like, I mean, some people do, but I'm thinking that's a bonus, not something you should demand. I mean, I'm surprised people go online to rant about their job. It's like, in some places they have a clause you could get fired for that. Like, yeah, it's not a good idea. And like I said, people aren't always ordering every day either. Yeah, sometimes you order a dozen things at once and they ship them in like 7 or 8 different shipments. So you can get the same one multiple times a day or multiple times a week. And yeah. Or there was a guy complaining too about people buying heavy items online and stuff. And it's like, okay, I mean, I'm sorry. I get it. It's heavy to pick up, but like, that is your job. You are getting paid for it. And also, not everybody has the option. I mean, for some people, like they said, if someone's disabled, they can't just go to the store and pick up a 30-pound bag of, dog food or something. Like, yeah. Sometimes that's the only way they can get it. And I mean, or I said, sometimes things are out of stock. Like, I felt pretty silly ordering a package of cornstarch off Amazon, but I had gone all over town and there was absolutely none in our city. And yeah, it's like I needed it because I wanted to make shortbread cookies at Christmas. And one of the key ingredients is cornstarch. So yeah, Amazon had it in stock. So what are you going to do, right? Yeah, and that's especially if you live out in more rural areas. A lot of times there is nothing there. You might have, I remember like when we first moved out to Alberta, we lived in this tiny little town, like 300 people. So, I mean, yeah, there was a gas station and a combination post office and like convenience store. But I mean, everything there cost, 5 times what it would in the city. And there was very little selection, obviously, because, it was just a tiny little convenience store. So yeah, it's like, what you gonna do, right? Yeah, because our closest sort of bigger shopping area was 40-minute drive each way. So yeah, I used to get really good at that time, I was really good at my meal prep. We would try to go every 3 weeks. So I would sit there and write this big menu and plan everything I needed to buy and make sure that, I was getting the stuff that used the fresh produce would be made first, and then by the end we'd be using, stuff that was made with canned goods or things that could last a lot longer, like potatoes versus, lettuce. Yeah. And yeah, I was wild though, but my husband worked that 40-minute drive away. So sometimes, I would ask him to just pick something up before he came home. But yeah, we put a lot of mileage on our car. We did that for 2 years, and we put like over 100,000 kilometers, yeah, in that time. Yeah, because it was a 1997. We bought it in 2002. Yeah. So it was a good vehicle, though. Yeah. That was a vehicle I took my road test in. So I didn't get my license till I was 24. So yeah, I drove that for like almost 10 years. Okay, back to 827. So yeah, either way, I was going to sort of close something in on one side or the other. That's just the case of when it makes that V shape. That's okay. So yeah, like I say, I try not to close in on 3 sides, but I mean, that's sort of just either I could have left the last row of white and done this, but then it would have closed the white in on 3 sides. Like either way, on one of the edges, that's going to happen because of the way I shaped it. Oh, goodness. Let's see if you will. No, okay. There. There we go. Okay. So I'm really excited for when I'm gonna have 100,000 stitches completed. That's always a fun milestone. Yeah, my last project, the Majora's Mask, was less than 50,000, so I was done. Yeah, it was a 5 months project. Yeah, it went pretty fast in comparison. Yeah, I did it so I could have a bit of a break from my huge projects, but then after this, I don't really have any smaller projects planned for quite a while. Yeah, they're all great big projects. Okay. I think I can get a couple more stitches out of this. I'm going to leave it threaded for now, even though it's pretty short, so we'll see if it stays on or not. Yeah, so I'm going to start another ecru thread down. So again, color branches off. Oh my gosh, come on. There we are. Pardon me. Oh. Oh, goodness, that was not even close to being the right thread. Oh. Yeah, I was from several stitches away. Yeah, that was very, very wrong. One frustrating thing is because this is mostly white on white, it doesn't look like I've done very much. Yeah, even though I'm, you know, over 150 stitches in. Yeah. I can't really see it. Okay, so I'm gonna do some work up here. This is all just sloping from the upper left to the lower right, so that is why I'm stitching like that. A little bit more of the blue here. Okay. All right. 995. So that is the last of this bright blue, I think, until we do the next pass. Although, yeah. Yeah, we sure did a lot of it. That's one nice thing with the darker colors. When you're working on a lighter fabric, you can really see the progress. So yeah, tablet seems to have warmed up now, thankfully. So yeah, that was painfully slow when I started this session. It was terrible. But yeah, now it's woken up a bit. Yeah, I think this is a color I can put away. Oh, I don't know. I don't really need space in my tray right now, so even though I'm not going to use this again for a while, I may just leave it out for a bit. But yeah, if I have where I have a lot of colors and not as much space in my tray, then a color like this that won't be used until I'm sort of done these big feathers, I would put it away and take it out again later. Oh, right, that's a bright color. And those are lighter ones. Ooh, so actually, I am going to draw this along the back. Yeah. There we go. Oops. Yeah, that's why I usually don't leave these short ones threaded, because they just come undone every time I try to use them again. Okay, 37.52. Oh, what a mess. There we go. Oh. Oh, for goodness sake. Oh, I got clips and things holding stuff in place and my thread got looped around it. Yeah, my bolts, like, they just won't really tighten anymore. And so I got these big elastic headbands, long ones that I kind of use to hold it. And so I don't really try to open and close the clamp anymore. I just kind of slide the frame in and out. If it's got, 'cause it's got the rubber shelf grip on it. Yeah, it kind of keeps it from sliding out, and then I put the bands on to sort of hold it into the frame because, yeah, it is worn out. I mean, I suppose I could buy some new bolts, but this works too. And honestly, the bolts were so frustrating. I would sit there tightening and tightening and tightening, and then kind of push on the frame just to test that if it's secure, the tightest little touch, and it would just squirt right out. Yeah, it's like flip, right? So then I would have to like unfasten the bolts, put it in, tighten it until I'm afraid I'm gonna tighten it too much, you know, and damage my frame. Test it again, squirt. It's like, oh, come on. Yeah, like I said, I want a spring-loaded kind of thing. My husband says that one of these days he's gonna build me something, but we'll see. Yeah, I could make this work. Yeah. I don't like scroll frames because of the way I stitch. My top arm gets tired if I can't rest it on something, and with a really super wide scroll frame, you kind of can't. So, yeah, I'm sticking with my Q-snaps for now. This one is pale enough I can pin stitch it. It's such a pale blue, it's almost white. So I think sort of this is as far as I'll work out for now. Fill all of it in and then shift over again. Yeah, so figured I might as well do those two at the top, that way when I do this it won't close that in. It's not quite correct. Nope. Holy moly, this is really short. I'm gonna have to make it a teeny bit shorter since the ends are uneven. There we go. Yeah, this will be close. Oh my gosh, I don't think I could have got one more pin stitch out of that if I tried. Oh, but I played thread chicken and I won, so. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, I showed it as being parked here when I actually parked it here because, yeah, I usually like to work from the right in, but just the way this worked out, it made more sense to start from the left out. Well, I said I was going to cut it off sort of there, but I think I may actually go a few more stitches out to the right so I can work more across this whole section of white here without closing as much in. So put that there, that side. Okay, that means actually I'm going to do this one next. Oh, look at that, I'm at 200 even. Nice. Like I said, I didn't start at 0, but still. This may be sort of where I go up to. Sometimes I will work across like almost 3 columns or even more, 4 at once, sort of if the color goes that way. It all just sort of depends. Double checking there that I had counted correctly. Okay. There we are. So that'll probably be where I cut it off for now. Yeah, sort of his wing goes right about here is where it changes to the sky. Oops. Should be enough for one more stitch out of that. Seems today is the day for playing thread chicken. Yeah, I had that once. I was knitting a sweater and I finished with like a meter of yarn left. Yeah, that was stressful. Especially because it was yarn I'd ordered, so it's not like I could just easily go to the, you know, brick and mortar store to buy some more. So yeah. Yeah, that was a nail biter. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of square things off here, since the white kind of extends to that row and not any further. Yeah, just kind of make a cutoff point there for a while till I start shifting everything over again. Like I say, in the end, it'll all be filled in, so it won't really matter. And I think I'm ready to take a break pretty soon. Yeah, I think this is where I'm going to quit for today. So yeah, like I said, it's mostly white on white, so it's hard to see, but I did fill in sort of this whole area here. So I'm pretty happy with that. Even though I started at just over 70. Yeah. We've got 233 completed, so it's quite a bit. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you here next time. Great, thanks everyone. Bye.